Gina, again, thank you so much for the lessons. We've got to keep this story moving because there's too much you've done. Let's talk about the big one that happens, Safaricom.
So I get a call. Jan Mutai was the MD of Telkom. And he calls me and he says, hey, how's it going? I used to tell people I've now gone into Juakali, tough. He'd say, how's Juakali? I'm like, yeah, it's fine, it's progressing. He's like, okay, so I need you to come and see me, 2 o'clock. I'm like, okay. So I go to Kenya, KPTC, whatever it was, go to his building, ex-Telcoms. I go there and Jan, very nice guy. And he says, look, we're about to sell a mobile license to Vodafone, and we need you to help us through this process. And I'm like, okay, not even thinking that it was going to be the big thing that it was. So I meet the Vodafone guys and we chat, and it's fine. They're in the middle of buying the license. So we covered the license being handed over to them, and worked closely with Musalia Mudavadi, who was the Minister for Transport and Communications at that time. Chris Okemo was in Ministry of Finance, and Titus Naikuni was the PS in the Ministry of Transport. So worked very closely with them, made it happen. And then obviously now Vodafone is going to be this huge new brand. And Michael Joseph's about to come into town. So it wasn't sure that we were going to get the account. So anyway, they tell me, the new MD is about to come to Kenya. He obviously wants to meet you. So we arrange a time, and my office is in Dennis Pritt, an old house, and Michael drives in, and the first thing, what the hell is a company that doesn't even have a proper road going to be able to do for us? I'm like, hi, Michael.
I'm Gina.
I'm Gina. And he's like, oh, what's all these old buildings, and shacks, because we had a lot of prefabricated. We grew so fast. We couldn't expand our offices. We didn't own them. So we had prefabricated offices everywhere. He says, what are all these shacks? I said, they're offices. He said, these shacks are offices? And I'm like, yeah, we have a really, Anyway, long story short, we got the Safaricom account.
Yes, it was quite an occasion because, I've never been to Kenya before. And I was told we have this PR agency. Actually, I didn't even know what a PR agency would do for us, but I had to go and meet the PR agency. And I drove there, or someone drove me there, and we arrived at this, what appeared to be some sort of campsite, with shambas there, or, what's the word?
Shacks.
Shacks, shacks. And this was the Gina Din offices. This is the PR agency that was going to represent us to the world. And I was sort of taken aback by saying, this is it. But anyway, we overcame that, and we had a long chat about Gina. And actually, when you think back to the start of Safaricom, and I've said this quite a few times, we started Safaricom, we knew nothing. And we made many decisions at the time knowing nothing.
Absolutely.
And now when you look back, the decisions that we made were very wise decisions. But at the time, they were not wise decisions. And many times we discussed, what should we do? It was more than just
intuitive.
A PR agency. It was more, look, what should we do? Do you think we should do this? What do you think? And things like that. And I think that's really what helped us put on the right road. I remember, trying to make a decision even about the logo.
Exactly, I remember that discussion. Yeah.
Should we call this Safaricom? And you advised me to keep the name Safaricom because it was a Kenyan name, and it was a great piece of advice because from that time onwards, we were always going to be a Kenyan company.
Exactly.
Even the colours of Safaricom in the early days was the colours of the Kenyan flag.
I remember us sitting in your offices at Norfolk Towers and going through the logo and looking at it and saying, okay, well, let's have it. And we just wanted it to be owned by Kenyans. And I think clearly we achieved that, right?
Yeah, we did. And it was really even the slogan, and I'm sorry it's not there anymore, but we called it the better option. Not the best option, but the better option, which meant there was always going to be better. And I think that's our beginnings. And we chose. At that time, we didn't know what the hell we were doing, but we chose. In the end, it was the right decision.
And we grew with them, and again, we were creating not just a brand for Safaricom. We were creating the mobile industry for Kenya.
Okay, I want to just spend a bit of time on this because I want to figure out at this time. Do you have an idea that the Safaricom is going to be this huge, or are you like, I wish I was working for Airtel?
No, I mean, Vodafone was obviously a big, so you could tell that there was going to be money being put behind this. But I think for me, what was the big thing was Michael. He was very, very focused. And very direct in a way that could actually sometimes hurt you. But he was so determined to make a go of this brand that actually I was inspired by him. That if there's somebody who's going to make this thing happen, it would be him, because he kicked ass. Michael was honestly, like, if it wasn't totally perfect, you would be in so much trouble. So I think for me, Safaricom was a very big part of my own growth.
Yep.
And for the growth of my business.
It's like you were under mentorship under Michael Joseph.
Yeah, kind of. We fought a lot.
And okay, there's something that you've said which I want to sort of. You said that his toughness could have come out in a way that other people may have construed it in a different ways.
Yeah, I think Michael requires understanding. Yes. I think that's, and he still does. I don't think Michael's changed.
Yeah.
He was very, very hard and very, like, he wasn't diplomatic in how he told you something. He told you that was crap. It was crap. He would say, "Oh no, you're coming with another PowerPoint. I don't want to listen to all that shit. Just tell me what you want to do."
And
that kind of thing.
And
my team had to spend like days, and I feel so bad. But he just wanted the bottom line. Like, what do you want to do? How much is it going to cost? Let's just do it. Like, don't give me your thinking behind it.
Yep.
There wasn't a day when I didn't go down to the third floor in Safaricom House and say, "How many subscribers did you sign up yesterday?" And if they didn't meet the private target, I got very angry. And I basically said, "You have a target, 1 million customers by the end of 2007, or I fire all of you." And they said, "Oh, it's so difficult, it's this and that and whatever." I said, "I don't care, you're going to do it." And we did it. And that was what turned it around.
So it was interesting. Michael, then I said again, because of my Barclays experience, I said to Michael, we now need to go to where your customers are. And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, we need to go to Kibera, we need to go to Eastleigh."
No way.
He's like, I'm not going there. I'm like, "You think your clients are 25 multinationals?"
No way.
Your clients are out there in those places. And so, kicking and screaming, we then went to these places with Michael. Aboard a big truck, and it was amazing. But it was that experience that I'd had, that I came with, what I'd learned about getting to know your customers and realizing that your customers aren't the people that are sitting in the sky, in the skyscrapers in the city of Nairobi. No, those aren't.
Let's talk a little bit about the unveil or the launch of Safaricom. Were you involved in that?
Everything. Safaricom was started on my birthday, 23rd of October, and that was for a reason. And they were like, what day should we do the launch?
23rd of...
And I'm like, how about the 23rd of October? And Michael's like, okay, seems like a fair enough day. And so I'm very lucky that every year on my birthday, I get a bouquet of flowers from Safaricom. Because it's their birthday, it's my birthday, and they'll never forget it.
All those decisions that shaped the future of Safaricom were taken in those first 6 months of our existence. And you remember well the famous debacle of us when we launched Safaricom on the 20th of October, on your birthday. 23rd of October, we launched it on your birthday.
I made sure of that.
Saturday nights, down there in the Carnival grounds. It was a really nice launch, I think.
Like 7,000 people. It was amazing.
And we ran out of beer.
Yeah, ran out of beer. Yeah. And then the network crashed.
And the network crashed on the Monday. And it was down for a week.
So
that's because of your
so we had this huge we had a huge event at the Carnival. Musalia was a guest of honor. I don't think the Carnival had seen an event that size before. So it was a lot. We wrapped the building in green fabric, so people didn't know what was going on. There was just this green fabric on the building. We did so much.
Yep.
The first bills of Safaricom, suddenly there was the end of the month, and like, oh, actually we need to send bills out, were done from my apartment floor. Because they just didn't have people. So I just got in a whole lot of casuals, and we sat there putting the bills into envelopes. Yeah.
Okay. Who did the launch? The president?
The president did the opening of the building.
And we're talking about which president right now?
Moi.
So had you had some interaction with President Moi before that?
Yeah, I had. I'd done a lot of, because of my CSR time at Barclays, we knew each other. I mean, he always knew who I was. He called me Chin Tin, which I was like, okay, cool.
Chin Tin.
Chin Tin.
Chin Tin.
Yeah, how are you, Chin Tin?
I get it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Chin Tin.
But yeah, and I mean, I then knew his kids. My kids were at school with his grandchildren, so there was a relationship. But very interesting. One time he came to open the building at Safaricom. Like, okay, what do we give him as a gift? And we decided on giving him the latest phone that was out. I think it was a Nokia something. And so we had this phone. We put a SIM card in it, and we got it all ready, and we presented it to him. And I had tried it out earlier in the day, so in my phone it was. And then later I got home, and I said, "Oh, what's his number?" I called. I'd forgotten that was the number we'd given to the president. Anyway, I called, and he picked up.
Chin Tin.
But he didn't have my number, and he was like, "Hello," and I'm like, "Oh shit!" I'm like, I heard that voice. I'm like, I have just called the president.
What?
And I'm like, "Hello, Your Excellency." And he's like, "Yes." And I said, "Oh, I just wanted to make sure your phone was working."
Wow.
And he's like, "It's working very well. It's very nice. Thank you." I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay." Yeah.
So I'm just saying that you had the president's number on your phone.
Yeah, like, I think he must have changed it quite soon after that.
He's like, no.
Yeah.
I just want to backtrack slightly because recently we saw the passing of Prince Philip. And this is somebody I know that you had also interacted with. So in our interview, we'll keep, as things come to mind, I'll just keep.
So Prince Philip is very interesting. I was working at Barclays, and of course, British Bank. Prince Philip's coming. I think he was here for the World Wildlife Foundation, and Barclays were a sponsor. And so, we got to go and hang out at the park and do a game drive with him. And he was very interesting, very funny, very dry. Very like. So where are you from? I'm from Kenya. Like, no, I know, but.
Where?
Like where are you, originally from? Like, oh, I'm actually originally from Kenya. He was like, you don't look like anybody else that's here. But very dry, very funny. I enjoyed meeting him.
And did you get to meet again? It was just that moment.
No, we met that one time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'll come back to Safaricom because this is a huge part of your story, and I'm loving to hear the influence that you had to do a few things here and there. M-pesa, the M-pesa story.